and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust Television. It's another beautiful day to talk about sports and, of course, actions that have occurred in the last 24 hours and the ones that are still occurring and breaking. We'll take them today on 360 Sports. My name is Martia Umar. Thank you for joining us. And Ibrahim is here. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Martia. It's nice to be here. It's always nice to talk about sports. There's no wrong time to talk about sports.
All right, Suleiman is here as well. Good morning to you, Suleiman.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk about the sport that we all love, what has given us so much joy growing up, and I can't wait to get into every single thing that I'll be going into today. Thank you.
All right, so that's amazing. It's great when you hear people talk about, okay, I'm so excited to get into what we're talking about today. Like, it's just feels so amazing. And then we saw the Flamingos, jubilating. Of course, they're having their matches today, the match today. They are in India, Goa precisely. I love Goa. I don't know about you, but I love Goa and I would love to play there. but I'm not playing with the Flamingos. So they will be playing today, playing Colombia. And Colombia were the teams that defeated Tanzania 3-0. And from their past antecedents, they're quite very strong when you talk about female football, precisely the Under-17 Women's World Cup. What do you think, this would be like today as they will be playing Colombia, Suleiman?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that I appreciate the fact that women's sport is getting this much recognition. I appreciate we're living in a world where men's sport has dominated for a very long time, but women's sport, the Under-17, is getting this much recognition and the world is talking about it. We can't take away the fact that it was a very emotional experience between USA on penalties. It was quite dramatic, which is why we love the sports that we've followed for so long. I'm looking at that encounter. One thing that I'll point out is the most important thing for this Nigerian national team is that I'm seeing unity, I'm seeing tenacity, I'm seeing determination, I'm seeing them believe that they can win it. And the fact that they believe is one of the things that will take them further, propel them. Now I'm looking at this encounter and I'm saying, wow, their opponents just beat Tanzania, and I thought Tanzania were a very good team. They were a beautiful team. So looking at this game, I think it's going to be very much balanced. But the fact that I'm seeing a united front from the Flamingos, the fact that I'm seeing them believe, the fact that I'm seeing the togetherness and the support that they are having from Nigerians all around the world. Every single Nigerian is talking about this. And this is a period where there are so many things. The NBA has kicked off. Champions League is happening. The Premier League, the La Liga. There are so many sporting activities happening in the world, but you can see the amount of recognition it's getting. So I believe with the tactical ability, with the prowess that they've shown so far in tournament, they actually have the potential to probably win it. My hands are tied, we'll see.
Okay.
All right, so not just winning against Colombia, do you think they can actually win the whole thing?
One step at a time. Beating Colombia is going to be a very tough task. Colombia will prove to be a very big force in the way of the Flamingos. But if they beat Colombia, I think Colombia have been one of the best teams so far because I did not see them beating Tanzania. But if they do beat Colombia, then wow, we have a competition in our hands. We have a chance of silverware. Maybe they can redeem the Nigerian national team considering the fact that we did not make it to the World Cup. I guess we're going to have to wait and see, but I'm rooting for them.
Okay, so 5,000 naira for every player if they beat Colombia. Is that boost enough? Is that enough boost for them to, go out there and do everything that they can?
Okay, this is a sports show. I don't want to get very economical, but once you look at 5,000 naira, you have your comparison and look at what is 5,000 naira.
Is it naira or dollars?
Dollars. I'm sorry. That's dollars, not naira.
$5,000, well, they have to come from the perspective, it should never be about the money. Once you do something like this for your country and it's about the money, you lose the passion, the priority becomes different, the focus becomes different. So it shouldn't be about money, it should be about representing your badge. It should be about the millions of Nigerians behind you, backing you, supporting you. That is what it should be about. Yes, the money is going to come as a sort of compensation if they win it. But what we should focus on ourselves and what every single person in that team should be talking about is that we need to win it because we're Nigerians. We need to win it because we wear green. We need to win it because we're Flamingos. It should never be about the money. Once it becomes about the money, then you lose focus. I respect what Nigeria is doing by compensating them. It's a hefty amount if you look at the struggle in today's day and age. I respect what Nigeria is doing, but it should not be about the money. But either way, who says no to money?
Okay, so 5,000 naira is enough.
$5,000, yeah.
$5,000. So I keep saying naira, maybe because I'm used to the naira and because the dollar is just going higher and higher and all that.
The dollar keeps rapidly increasing. It's actually mortifying where we're going with the dollar right now.
You know, so it's good to actually see the new NFF board coming in to say that they're going to support the Flamingos. I mean, like you did say it's really not about money, but incentive is good.
Yeah, it's an incentive and is added motivation for the Flamingos. But I'm just coming from the angle that as much as you want to be compensated for how well you do, the smiles that you put on the faces of every single Nigerian going through any form of adversity, going through a bad time, going through a bad patch, should give you enough motivation and confidence to say that I'm fighting for my team, I'm fighting for the Nigerian national team, I'm fighting for the Flamingos. We are going to show a united front in the face of adversity, in the face of every form of suffering. We are going through a period where there's so much flood, lives are being lost. What can we do to bring at least an element of happiness? It might never be ample happiness, but at least, no matter how minuscule, no matter how minute, something that can bring joy. That should be what they should be fighting for at this very moment in time. But I don't have a problem against the compensation, but it shouldn't be the motivating factor towards them going on to win the whole tournament. Okay,
so we are keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that they beat Colombia, where they slug it out today in Goa. But away from the Flamingos, handball, the Prudence Energy Premier League handball games in Lagos is ongoing. And of course, it's day 3 results we'll be looking at now. The men and women are slugging it out there to show who becomes the winner at the end of this tournament. So the day 4 results are here, and we'll take a look at the result that was played yesterday. We have the Safety Shooters versus Toja Marine Academy. Those are like the standard derby because these two clubs are in Lagos, and it just happens that it ended 31-28 points in favor of Safety Shooters. A lot of people were not expecting that. Then the Winner Kings were in action. They were in action day 2, day 3 as well. They're in action with Rima Strikers. And it was a draw, 21-21 points for each team. And Kano Pillars are topping the league right now. They played Benue Buffaloes. Benue Buffaloes lost their last match, and they're losing to Kano Pillars again. 31 points for Kano Pillars and 20 points for Benue Buffaloes. And then Niger United and Conflict Star played a draw yesterday. They had 19 points each.
So we're seeing a resurgence in handball right now in Nigeria. I mean, like, it was a sport that we used to be very good at one point, and then we went for a slump. But right now it's actually coming back. We have the league currently going on right now. So what is your take on handball development generally now, looking at this league coming up, and how it probably gives an opportunity for new talent to be discovered?
Yeah, it gives an opportunity to show a plethora of talent. I appreciate the fact that it's getting recognition. Handball is one of those sports where people rarely talk about, and it's such a shame because it's a very intriguing sport. It's actually a very interesting sport. We need diversity in our sport. When we look at Nigeria, the only sport where we really thrive and gather so much of the conversation, dominates the headlines, is football. We need to see other sports grow in the nation because by a population of over 200 million, and there's an ample amount of talent in Nigerians. We can see so many Nigerians excel if given the opportunity. We need to see growth in tennis. We need to see growth in basketball. We need to see growth in handball. So I'm just happy that we're here talking about handball. You can look at the faces of these players. They look motivated. They look ready to go. They look like they're enjoying the sport, which is the most important thing about sport. You should enjoy it, and they look like they're enjoying it. I love this because I love the fact that it wasn't a gigantic gap. You can see that there's competition. It looked very, very competitive. I think that's something that's really interesting, and that's something people should look out for. Handball, you guys should look out for it, because we're going to have so many arguments about handball moving forward in this country.
I hope so, because it's 50 years we've been playing handball in the country, and then we're still having low turnout. So the women also were in action. We'll take a look at the table. It was just a match for the women yesterday.
Yeah, Safety Babes beating Seasiders by 31-25 is also another interesting result, talking about how the gap is and the level of competition that we're actually seeing in this league. I mean, men side by side playing against the women, playing with the women as well. And it's really important that we have the required investment, because most of the things we talk about is we are lacking a lot of investment in sports. but I think we have a sponsor now for this particular league, and it's actually going. And how far can we go to encourage other people to come in and see how we can develop other sports aside from football?
No, first of all, we need to promote the sport. It's not necessarily about the investment. You have to come for the factor of, do we have the coaches? Do we have the facilities? Can we pull people's interest? And one of the reasons I had a conversation with someone the other day and said, why is tennis not really thriving in Nigeria? Because there are so many good tennis players. And the answer is simple. We do not have the coaches in Nigeria. So I think, first of all, you need to have a training system, a recruitment system. And that can only be facilitated if we have proper coaches. And that can only happen if we have people that are interested and invested in the sport. Now, so many people now don't like it when I say this, but we might need to bring in international coaches, foreign coaches that can at least teach the Nigerian coaches and can help transition the process. So we tend to move on and get our own independence in the sport. Going around basketball, you can look at, if you look at the difference between people that watch football and people that watch basketball, it's quite humongous and gigantic, if you ask me. So we need to bring interest back in. We need to promote the sport. We need to get people talking about the sport. We need to put banners up there, regardless of the amount of investment you put in. If people are not talking about it, if it doesn't captivate people, if people are not fascinated by the sport, nobody will be interested in the sport. And one of the ways to make people fascinated by the sport is to get people playing at the best level, play at the highest level, and that can work if we have coaches that are here to facilitate it.
I hope we get coaches that will be able to facilitate handball and other games aside of football. So that's it for handball. Of course, I wanted to say UEFA Champions League, of course. It's something that, you know, keeps us awake. We want to see who wins at the end of the game. The group stages, part of the group stages were played yesterday, and we saw Chelsea and the likes of Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, and of course AC Milan in action. Let's take a look at the table.
All right, well, coming down the table, Chelsea is still in a rich vein of form. They didn't find it easy yesterday, but they actually managed to beat RB Salzburg by 2-1. AC Milan won away 4-0 to Dinamo Zagreb, and Celtic and Shakhtar Donetsk played out a 1-1 draw. That's a surprising result for me, because I thought Shakhtar would have been able to do the business. RB Leipzig beat Real Madrid by 3-2, another surprising result, but not really surprising considering the fact that Madrid had already qualified. Sevilla beaten Copenhagen 3-0, there's no surprise there. Dortmund, Manchester City. I mean, keeping a clean sheet against Manchester City, this Manchester City is no mean feat. So I think Dortmund did a very good job there as well. Another result that actually sent shockwaves around is Benfica Juventus. I mean, like, Juventus now have thrown in the towel concerning the Champions League for this season. They've had a torrid start to the season, and it still continues. And they were beaten 4-3. PSG Maccabi Haifa 7-2. Absolutely explosive, lots of goals there to actually watch. So Slima, let me ask you, I mean, which one of these results was actually stands out for you?
Firstly, I'll say that I wasn't surprised by Juventus results.
Okay.
I've been watching Juventus from the beginning of the season. It seems Allegri has no plan, no tactics, no tactical prowess. I don't see resurgence in the team. I don't see fight in the team. Anytime I watch the team, I keep on asking myself, what exactly are you guys doing? I don't see a plan. So I'm really surprised when I see Benfica beat them, because the game plan for Benfica from the beginning was to go on, press them, find holes in their midfield, and they did that successfully. Yeah, Juventus managed to find a way back into the game to get the score 4-3, but it still wasn't enough. And I feel Benfica are going to qualify out of the group.
They were 4-1 down at one point.
Yeah, Benfica are going to qualify out of the group, and deservedly so. They deserve the opportunity, because they've been better than Juventus. We can't keep on saying because Juventus is the powerhouse and we can say Juventus lost it. Juventus did not lose it. Benfica won it. Out of the games, Dortmund Man City was a very interesting one. I'm wondering, as a coach, because I saw Cancelo make a couple of mistakes. He made a mistake against Salah that led to Salah scoring the goal when they played Liverpool. So I'm looking at Pep Guardiola. Is he going to make a big decision considering how much Cancelo contributes going forward? But you could see Dortmund, they're very compact. They held their ground. They were very, very good defensively, and I think that their game plan worked. I'm sure they wanted to get a counter and get a goal, but it never really happened. But I think it's a good score for them. I'm looking at the Sevilla game, and if you remember Isco, that was one of the most integral parts of the three-pitch Real Madrid side that won the Champions League. He came back, he's having a resurgence, he's having a redemption story. He was the best player on the pitch by a mile. You could see how well he was playing, but you see him dominating the midfield, setting the pace, and I was happy he was the man of the match. Incredible performance. RB Leipzig, Real Madrid. It wasn't really a surprise for me, because I don't think Real Madrid has been as consistent as people have made them out to be. You could see that Benzema wasn't in the team. Valverde, that was one of their best players throughout the season, was missing in the team, and you could see they were played out the park. by Real Madrid. Celtic Shakhtar was quite balanced, so I wasn't really surprised. AC Milan, Dinamo Zagreb, Rafael, one of the best players on the planet right now, in my opinion. You could see how well he played. Giroud got his first Champions League goal for the season, so that's extra motivation for him going into the season. There was a lot of talk in Italy from their press saying that they're quite concerned because Juventus are out. Napoli are playing exceptional football. They were quite concerned because they thought AC Milan, who won the Serie A, were going to be eliminated, so I'm happy for them. Chelsea, not really as consistent as they should be, so it was a good result for Chelsea. I wasn't really impressed with the team performance. And PSG, Maccabi Haifa, PSG have the best attack on the planet, is unassailable. Nobody's coming close to what they have on their attack. You could see how well they connected, the chemistry, the cohesion between Messi, Neymar and Mbappe. It's quite scary what they are going to do going forward.
So circling back to the Juventus issue, do you think this is the end of the road for Allegri?
No, I don't think it's the end of the road for Allegri, because when you look at Juventus, they have financial problems. They're giving Allegri a contract till 2025. If they decide to sack Allegri or relieve him of his duties, they have to pay him out till 2025. And I'm thinking that one of the reasons they haven't sacked him is more of a financial reason rather than a sporting reason.
But believing him on for as long as he is now with the current results and with the current trajectory, isn't that still shooting yourselves in the leg because you're not going to get the performances ready to get those finances up?
Okay, first of all, you have to come from the angle of what exactly was their goal for this season. I don't think they expected to win the Champions League. They didn't expect to be eliminated this early, but they did not expect to win the Champions League. I don't think they expected to win the Serie A. They expected to at least fight for it and put something forward.
But they're not doing any of that now, right now.
But if you sack him now, you put yourself in more of a financial dilemma, and there's a possibility he can turn it around. Paul Pogba is coming back. Di Maria is going to come back. McKennie looks like he's playing really good football. Chiesa, remember, Chiesa and Paul Pogba are the best players on that team. And Chiesa is out till 2023. Pogba, all of a sudden, he has come back. He was meant to recover in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time, but Pogba, all of a sudden, is back in the team training. He might not start this week or next week, but he's back in the team training. So there's a possibility Allegri might redeem himself and maybe get a Champions League next season. You get your recruitment right to sign more players, and there's a possibility things might go right. I don't think it's all said and done for Juventus yet.
No, so you've been making emphasis on, some of the players. Don't you think it's a managerial problem? Because you've mentioned that they have lots of players and we still have more coming back. It's not the fault of the coach. You think, the coach is doing well?
First of all, you have to look at the defense. Danilo, for me, is not a good right back on any given day. Look at Bonucci. Bonucci is actually showing now that Father Nature has caught up with him. He's slowing down. You need to look at Sandro. Sandro hasn't been the same since 2016. So regardless, I think the defense is a foundation for every good team. Regardless of how well you attack, the defense actually laid the ground for how well your team is going to perform. And in the midfield, McKennie has been played out of position a couple of times. And I understand what you're saying. Yes, could it be the coach? But that's why I'm driving back to my point that one of the reasons they've not relieved him of his duties is more of a financial reason rather than a sporting reason. And if you relieve him of his duties now, who exactly do you get that is better than Allegri? Who is on the market better than Allegri right now?
Well, there have been rumours of Conte leaving Tottenham, going back to Juventus, and Pochettino making a return to Tottenham.
No, that can't happen because of financial reasons. Now, one thing about Conte is that Conte is a very, very good manager, but Conte is also a very expensive manager, and Conte comes with a lot of demands. When he was at Inter Milan, they told him that they needed to sell certain players because of their financial structure was at stake. They were losing a lot of money. And one of the reasons Conte left that team is that he made it very, very clear to them that if you guys can't keep up with the project and building something here, you just want the league. He wanted to go on to win the Champions League because that has been one of the things that has been a stain on his legacy, the fact that he does not possess Champions League pedigree. He made it clear to them that he wanted to build this team to go on to win the Champions League, and they made it clear to him that they were going to sell players because they needed the money. So how is Conte going to thrive in the Juventus team when he's coming as a very expensive coach? He's coming in with a very expensive coaching staff, and he's coming in with a lot of demands. So how exactly does it work when they have financial problems?
So we see the old ladies fizzling out this season because they are, of course, out of the Champions League fight. We'll take a look at the table now and see how it stands for the Champions League and people trying to contend for the remaining sports. To take a look at Group A, of course, Ajax will have to play today, and then let's see how their performance goes. Liverpool too will be asking for a spot, and they've not secured that yet. For people who have qualified, we have Chelsea. Chelsea have qualified. They've secured the spot. Sevilla, of course, it's Europa. They are very comfortable with Europa. But looking at their performance, this season, qualifying for the Champions League, getting into the group, do you think that Sevilla could have, if they have played better in the beginning, could have made it to, the Champions League last round of 16?
Well, you have to look at your competition. As much as you want to believe in yourself, as much as you want to tell yourself that you guys are going to qualify, you have to look at your competition. I think Dortmund are a very solid team. Man City are arguably the best team on the planet. So I don't really see how it would have been feasible for them to overthrow Man City or Dortmund. Dortmund have Bellingham, who is a future star of the game. Currently a star, but his potential is across the roof. We don't know how well he's going to thrive in his career as a footballer. So I don't really see them. If they had qualified, that would have been them overachieving, and that would have been something that would have earned my respect. But at this point in time, I think they have to be content and satisfied with probably a third place finish. They go to Europa and...
They're always going to Europa.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They are the Europa League giants. So they go to Europa, they settle for a spot on Europa. Would they win it? I don't think they'll win. I don't think they'll make semi-finals. Because Man United are in Europa, Juventus might probably go to Europa, Barcelona might probably go to Europa. So there are so many factors that come. Ajax will probably be in Europa. So I don't really see them. And Arsenal are in Europa. So I don't really see them winning the Europa. This is because of the amount of competition in the Europa League.
All right, that's it for the UEFA Champions League results played on the 25th of October 2022. Now, Serena Williams, at some point earlier this month, we heard she was retiring. There was clamor about her retiring, and at every point when she was playing her last tournament, there was this mark of respect when she was bowing out. But it seems she's not retiring anything, because she's actually saying that, yes, I might be coming back, or I will be coming back, as she said in the latest update from Serena Williams. Now, Serena Williams has, she is a 23 Grand Slam winner. And she's 41. And there's this saying that you should leave the stage when ovation is really high. Do you think she's making a mistake?
The first thing I can say about Serena is that she has my utmost respect. Everything she has done for the game. I grew up as a kid watching Serena, adoring Serena, glorifying everything that Serena has done. And the biggest compliment on earth I can pay to Serena is that she is, in my eyes, unassailably the greatest of all time. Some people say Stephanie Graf, but I didn't really watch Stephanie Graf. I've done my research on Stephanie Graf. I don't think she was a better tennis player than Serena Williams, because Serena Williams has transcended sport. It's not just about tennis when you talk about Serena Williams. She's a decorated, global, iconic figure. She has had a blistering career. But when it comes to athletes, there's always this saying that two things make an athlete: the body and the mind. Your mind and body will always be in agreement till you reach your late 30s. And she's 41 now. Once you get to your late 30s, that's where disagreement, the conflict comes into play. Your mind wants to carry on, but is your body capable of carrying on? And I still believe that Serena can go on to win matches. Can she still compete at the highest level? I do believe she can. But the question is that we grew up seeing Serena Williams win every time. We grew up getting comfortable with the fact that she was going to win every Grand Slam. And for the first time in her career, I don't think that's the case. What she said is that she said she's evolving from this sport. She never said she's retiring from the sport. So there's a big difference. I think she has to understand that her role in sport now will be on the periphery of tennis. She might not be the number one or the number two. She might not make it past second rounds or third rounds, but she can still be an integral figure in the sport, motivation for young women all around the world who wants to come into the sport. So with Serena, I just want us and Serena to come to terms with the fact that she isn't what she used to be. She doesn't have the capabilities that she used to have, and she might have to settle with just being a beat part player in the world of tennis.
Okay, so we'll move on to Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner could not secure her release. Okay, she was appealing, but it wasn't secured yesterday. She has been sent to prison. Yeah, she'll be cooling off there for some time. So one of the all-time greats of female basketball, Brittney Griner, the Russia can't reject her appeal over jail term, and it seems she'll be in prison. What do you say to this, like somebody who's making big names, and for the fact that she's been arrested for drugs? Cannabis oil was found in her luggage. That was before the Russian-Ukraine war, and she has been in custody since then. What do you think about a young woman with a career and then being crumbled with, mistakes like this? Because she said, it's a mistake and it's been really, really stressful. You never know what they go through anyway.
First of all, it's a controversial issue, an issue that has been very polarizing, very much well within the black community in America. And it's just a shame because she's not the first person that has been subjected to this kind of controversy, but I've never seen controversy to this point. You can go back to Mike Tyson when he was arrested and things like that, but now she's been arrested in Russia. And many people need to understand that the Russian criminal justice system is different from the American criminal justice system.
True.
The Americans are trying to appeal, they are trying to negotiate, but Russia has come from the point of perspective that if you want us to release the speculations that people are saying, you have to give us a Russian captive in Germany, a Russian captive in England. And USC doesn't necessarily have the power to release people in Germany or to release people in England. And to be fair, it's actually quite a harsh verdict. And I think everybody can come to fact with the terms that she doesn't deserve the sentence. It's actually
She was caught.
No, she was caught unwarranted. But now the question I'm going to ask every single person is that what they have done to Greener, is it consistent with what they normally do to people in this kind of situation? And the answer is no. I've done my research on this. So many journalists have come out to speak on this particular issue. There are people who have done far worse and gotten a way lighter sentence than this. But so many Americans and so many people that are appealing to the courts pertaining her case, we're only optimistic that they get a lighter sentence. I think people have thrown it out the door, the fact that her coming back or her being released. The best thing they can do is get a lighter sentence. And I think now we're looking at how long is it going to take for her to be sent to a penal. And you know, when you are sent to a penal, that's a very destructive society, considering she's American, they are Russians, it can be quite denigrating, it can be quite abusive. So it's actually quite a shame. You see somebody who is averaging 20 points. 20 points for an NBA star is quite good. 20 points, 6.7 rebounds, 0.14 blocks. So it's actually quite, it's very shameful. It's very, very unfortunate that she finds herself in this predicament. I wish her nothing but the best, but I feel there's now a long-standing belief that she might have to serve her 9-year sentence. But the best thing they said here is that what she served before the trial is something that will be reduced from her sentence. So the 250 days or so.
Okay, so we cannot continue because we're out of time. But thank you so much for being here, and we'd love to have you again.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine.
Thank you for watching 360 Sports. My name is Martia Umar.
And of course, stay with Trust TV for all the latest in sports and other news as well. I am Ibrahim Yusuf.